Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jane Shodel. I'm the programmer for the Special Presentations program, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to today's world premiere screening of Unicorns, co-directed by Sally L. Hosaini and James Krishna Floyd. I know. We would like to thank our lead sponsor, Bell, and our major sponsors, RBC, Bulgari, and Visa, for their continued support. We would also like to thank our government supporters, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto. This film is eligible for the People's Choice Award. Vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank CAA for providing us with this film, and thank you also to the British Council for their generous support. This is the first time at the festival for the work of James Krishna Floyd, but TIFF audiences know well that last year's opening night film was Sally L. Hosaini's celebrated drama, The Swimmers. Unicorns is an alluring fusion of forbidden romance and colliding cultures, and stars Jason Patel in a most memorable feature debut, and Ben Hardy, known to worldwide audiences for his performances in X-Men Apocalypse and Bohemian Rhapsody. We're very pleased to have an opportunity to speak with our guests after the screening, but please join me in welcoming to TIFF James Krishna Floyd and Sally L. Hosaini.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Hello, TIFF. Good morning, good afternoon. What is it?
Good afternoon, I think we could say.
There you go. So I'm James, I'm the co-director and writer of this film. There's a lot of people I'm going to thank, and I'm going to forget a lot of people, so please forgive me. This is my little creative baby. This is my debut as a filmmaker, so it better be good. I just want to thank Cameron Bailey, Jane, and the whole TIFF programming team. I think it's really fitting that this film is in such a, playing in a vibrant city and a culture like it is here. I want to thank the producers, Philip Hurd, who was on the project for 7 years from the beginning. Love you, Phil. Maven, Celine Rattray, Trudy Styler, thank you so much for helping me achieve my dream. The incredible River Road, Bill Polad, Kim Roth, Krista Workman. Oh, lovely people. All our investors, I know some of you are here, there's a lot of you, so sorry, I'm not going to name you. Film With Us, Filmgate, Film Wells, Protagonist, all our HODs, who came and worked for Beans on Toast. I really appreciate that. Big thanks to CA Media Finance, to Rogue, Christine. Thanks, guys, to Falco, to Guido at Slate. Special thanks to our cast, some of who are here tonight, and Sally will intro them in a second. And my agents here, Nish, Sam, Ali, Teresa, thank you for coming, guys. Big love. And an extra special thanks to Asifa Lahore. She really made this happen, I think, meeting her 7 years ago, and we have a very, very close friendship, so huge love to her. And finally, there's this person called Sally El Hosaini that I've worked with a couple times now. This is the third one, so I don't think it's the last, unless you don't want to do it again, which is fine. But no, this is, it's amazing to be here, especially after coming with Swimmers last year. I really am genuinely humbled to have this playing here and to work with her again. So I'll hand you over to the force that is Sally.
Thank you. Thank you, James. There are a few people I want to thank. James is the first one for allowing me to co-direct this with him. Also, I want to thank Beth Swafford, Inda Gill and the team at CAA, my other reps, Matthew Bates, Rosalie Swedlin, Nicole Romano, and also Stephen Daldry for his support on the project. This is truly an independent film. It was made outside the jurisdiction of SAG and WGA, but we fully support what our striking colleagues in unions are doing. But we're also so proud to be here representing independent film. And yes, the exciting bit, we do have members of our team here. So I'd like to invite to the stage our producer, Philip Hurd. And also our other producers from Maven, Trudy Styler and Celine Rattray. And our producers from River Road, Bill Polad and Krista Workman. and our lead actors, Ben Hardy and Jason Patel. And finally, one of our main supporting cast members, Ali Afzal. We're honored and humbled to be here and really enjoy the film. Thank you.
We're very delighted that we have a couple of moments to have a conversation with our guests about the film. So here's how it'll go. If you have a question, could you please put your hand up and wave it side to side? It helps me see you against the light. Again, as always, if you could keep your questions brief and pertaining to the film that we've just seen, not any other work, that would be terrific. I will, whenever necessary, repeat the questions for the benefit of everyone in the house. So please join me now in welcoming and congratulating James Krishna Floyd and Sally El Hosaini.
And also Ben Hardy and Jason Patel.
Congratulations to you all. So do we have a question from anyone here? Yes, there.
My question's for Ben. How long did it take you to learn the smoking trick?
The question is for Ben. How long did it take you to learn the smoking trick?
Fair. I confess, I used to be a heavy smoker. So for me, yeah, I don't know. I think I just kind of figured that out when I was 18, you know, trying to show off as my party trick. But yeah, a little while. There was a lot of time in the mirror, I'd pop in the jaw. But anyway, yeah. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't smoke.
There's a question here, please.
Great work. I'm very fascinated about your take on exploring desire from a gender identity and not from a sexual orientation. And I think it's beautiful in development. So I would love the idea of how you approach that in the writing, but also for the actors to say, oh, it's a straight man who fell in love with a woman and develop that feeling and that exploration until like, okay, well, what's the balance between gender identity and sexual orientation?
Bless you, sir. I'm going to try to repeat that. The gentleman is saying great work. He loved seeing a story that approaches this subject matter from the question of gender identity and not sexual orientation. Can you talk a little bit about the pathways into that?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, I think, you know, for me, I wanted my debut film to be about this idea that identity is very fluid and very confusing. I think we live in a world where mainstream society is constantly forcing categories and labels on us. And I've struggled against that. I still do to this day, whether it be sexuality, whether it be race. All of these things for me have been very fluid. So I wanted to sort of put that in a film. And in terms of what you were specifically saying, yes, I mean, ultimately, you know, love is love and all that kind of stuff. But I think if you look at every single scene, really what both characters are trying to do is get the monkey off their back of mainstream culture. Just trying to say, well, I should be this. And it's interesting how this film's got made today, because I was just saying backstage to you, actually, I'm not sure, you know, 5, maybe even 4 years ago this film gets made. I think it's become more and more relevant, even though I actually started writing it 7 years ago. And I think, you know, without being too preachy, what we were trying to do is provide questions. You know, do identity labels really exist? And I think more importantly, do they matter? You know, and especially in the context of romance, we don't choose who we fall in love with. We don't choose who we're attracted to. And it's tough, you know, it's tough to say F you. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Fucking no. Yeah, it's tough to say fuck you to mainstream culture because it's everywhere. And I think especially with social media now, you know, we've been sort of almost conditioned and I think aggressively advertised to double down on our hashtags. And that's very comfortable in one sense, but it's also very reductive. So that's really what I think we were trying to sort of communicate.
And the actors?
Yes.
That was such an incredible answer, James. I don't know how I'm going to follow. I think, like, for us, especially in this process, well, me personally, because there were essentially two characters that we kind of brought together, even though it's like one vessel, it was like this person's just kind of trying to figure out who they are and trying to stop caring about what other people thought of them as well, so that they could not apologize for who they are and just like live their life and love who they wanted to do, love who they wanted to, and like who they wanted to, and do what they want to in their life. I think it's really important as well that, I don't know, I kind of like took that advice in my own life as well. After the process, it was like, you know, this person is like Aisha and Ashik, they genuinely come from a place of like warmth and like they're just like a genuine soul. Like you see that the family that they come from. And I feel like when we was exploring this and when we were shooting it as well, because we didn't shoot it in a chronological order, it was like, okay, how is this person literally in this moment? Like it's not about whether they're this, that, or the other, just what is going on in this like moment, and like what are they feeling and what are their thoughts, and actually this matters more than like X, Y, and Z, you know? Mm-hmm. You? No?
I think you covered it. Beautiful.
All right, moving on then. Yes, in the front here.
I'm really interested in the story and where it came from, and I was wondering if any of it was like lived experience, or obviously like we write what we know, but yeah, I'm wondering how like the story kind of came about.
She's asking about the inspiration for the story. Did it come through lived experience, or could you speak essentially to the origin of it for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are very personal to me, I think emotionally in the story. But also 7 years ago, I met someone called Asifa Lahore, who at the time was the UK's first out realism Muslim drag queen. So as you can see in the film, we have a realism drag in the South Asian culture, which is very different. It's quite kind of subtle and naturalistic. It's very different to the RuPaul style of drag. But yeah, I mean, I think anything you write, hopefully, is I think organically personal. I think you know, identity is something that has defined a lot of my life. You know, I'm an actor first as well, so you know, I've been put into those boxes every day, so I can really relate to that. Yeah, and also I'm half Indian, half English, and a lot of my family are inspired by Ashik's family. A lot of my family are also inspired by Luke's family. It's very, very similar. So I drew from those sort of personal experiences. But really, it was 7 years ago when I met Asifa, and she took me into the Gaysian scene. I'd always kind of known it a bit, but I never really dove in. And she took me to the real heart of it. And there's so many things in the film, millions of other things you could put in TV series.
And a lot of the supporting cast are also queens from the scene.
They are amazing. Beautiful. Yes. Okay, right there, and then I'll come to you.
Yes, I did.
All the way
She
back
says,
in the
Jason,
UK.
you probably don't remember me.
No, I do.
All right.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
In awe of your talent, we are.
Thank you.
Definitely.
There was a question there.
First off, congratulations on the film. I found you transition so fluid. And I love the fact that the stuff that matter you explain here. The ability to do that on camera. Just refreshing to see. I can understand. My big question though, as an actor and filmmaker, when you first had this idea 7 years ago, I assume you wrote the script, you went to someone who did it, and said, hey, listen, I got this amazing idea, and you probably pitched it to possibly could, right? My question for you is for screenwriters like myself that are trying desperately to get their script out there, what would you suggest to them, and what was the process to you creating the script on the computer to now, to standing on stage at TIFF?
Okay, that's a really interesting question, and probably both of you are writer-directors. What's the process? You have this idea, you get it out there. I know we only have a few moments, that's a much larger discussion, but can you talk about the path briefly?
Well, having Sally Hosaini on board helps. That's the first thing. I mean, just to kind of quickly give you, I guess, my answer. It's probably best you answer this because she's been writing a lot longer than me. I think if you write something personal, I think you will walk through fire to get it made. I literally would have begged, stealed, and borrowed for this movie. There was no way it wasn't
Find
getting
subject
made.
matter that you can sustain for a decade. That's step one. And then with this film also, you know, I saw you through those 7 years. It was a film, then it was a TV, then it was film again. And, you know, it was the pandemic that really brought me into this project because Swimmers fell apart. And that was when we began talking about co-directing and co-directing this film before Netflix came in and bought Swimmers. And so that's how I got involved with it.
Like trusting your idea with strangers because you don't know.
Yeah.
This is my baby, this is my child. I know it's a necessary thing, but how did you get over that hump of like, do I really want to?
I mean, we've worked together, like this is our third collaboration, so I think that trust was already there. So I'd say, you know, try to meet other people who are at a similar stage, similar passion for the project.
Yeah, you can't do anything on your own in this industry. It's a team sport disguised as an individual sport.
Absolutely. Yes, go ahead. The question is about the chemistry between our two lead actors, which
So-
I agree with you is off the charts.
So it is off the charts.
And did you develop it? So,
And
was it there from the start, or?
yeah, so Ben was already on the project and we were looking for our unicorn. And then when we got Jason's tape, we got really excited. But then we said, this is a love story. It's all about chemistry. What if they have terrible chemistry? So we did a chemistry read and it was so instantaneous. James and I just looked at each other and we knew instantly that we had the movie. And as soon as we left that screen test, we said to each other, these people can't spend another second together. So we then called up Ben, we called up Jason, and we said, okay, for pre-production, we don't want you to exchange numbers, to talk, to meet. We're going to keep you separated for the entire prep period.
Fascinating.
And the first scene we're going to do together is the sex scene. And so really I want to commend the openness of these two actors who trusted us and did that.
Amazing. Incredible.
And just quickly, the reason we did that was to keep the danger, nerves, excitement,
Vulnerability.
security, vulnerability.
Yeah.
But from your perspectives, what was that like?
And yeah, and it kind of, you know, for Luke anyway, Aisha is sort of the forbidden fruit. And then when we were doing rehearsals and read-throughs and I wasn't allowed to talk to Jason, I was like, oh my God, I can't talk to this mythical being. So it really did become a unicorn in my mind. So it really helped. It made it kind of a lot easier. But to your point about chemistry, personally, in my experience, I don't think you can cheat that. I think it's either there or it's not.
Yeah.
I've done things before, I won't name them, but where I've tried to manufacture chemistry and spent a lot of time with people, and it does really help. But I think, it's like when you fall in love. Sometimes you meet someone, you have an instant rapport, and things go from there. And I think, if you don't have that on screen, it shows. I'm not saying we're in love.
But maybe they are.
Okay. We have time for one more question right there.
Hi, great film. Oh my God, obsessed. Love how unapologetically queer it is. Love the dichotomy of chosen family and bio family. Thank you so much for making this film, first of all. My question was, I love the music.
Yeah.
How did you get, how was the music supervision process? Because while in the first scene in the movie, I love the banter, I want to really invest in the banter, but I'm also listening to Raghav's song. It's me a lot.
So
Supervision is so good. Could you walk me through that?
it's funny, we were talking about how great the music was backstage.
I
Can
know,
you
we need a
speak to it?
soundtrack. We
Yes.
definitely need a soundtrack for this film.
Yeah, so I'm a big music head. I grew up in a music family. My mum was a pianist, dad's a guitarist. So I've been building up this soundtrack for a long, long time. It's big, so we had to pick and choose. But a lot of the artists in the film, obviously Raghav's very famous with certain people, but there's actually a few artists that really hit that kind of Gaysian vibe of fusion of East and West, but in a very modern way. So there's an artist called Royale, who's actually from the States. I think someone said yes, they might know who he is. Who mixes just, like he's got influences from dubstep back to the old Bollywood tracks with, you know, item girls singing in a kind of falsetto. So it was just, I think it's very modern, you know, and again,
It felt right to the movie, ultimately.
And,
You know,
and it's that whole
mix.
thing of mixing identities, I think. Oh dear, just a mash.
Thank you so much for bringing unicorns to TIFF. We're
Thank
so
you.
Thank
pleased
you.
and
Thank
proud
you
to
so much.
present it. Congratulate them, please,
Thank
on
you.
a fantastic film. Woo!